If you watched my last video, you'll know that the dragon language from Skyrim is one of the most developed conlangs in the Outer Scrolls. Today, though, I would like to talk about potentially the least developed conlang in the Outer Scrolls, Nordic. The Nordic language only has 11 known words in its lexicon, plus 4 more from Atmoran that presumably have a Nordic descendant. This is remarkably few, and what there is kind of, for lack of a better term, half-assed. I mean, Bearsarks, berserkers, is literally just translated as bear chests, which of course isn't impossible, but it feels lazy to have one of the morphemes in the word just be the word that it means in English, especially since the language is not meant to be related to English. The same is true of the morpheme or word man, just meaning man. So what exactly do I intend to do about it? Well, I suppose just make it a more interesting language, while keeping in step with what is already there. The phonology is pretty simple for English speakers, but has some interesting quirks, like the possibility of aspirated rhotics before certain vowels. This is a pretty rare sight in the real world, but I decided to include it because one of the words includes an RH in its spelling. I chose to use most of these phonological features because the words that we have are very English-like, so a similar phonology to English makes sense to me. I also chose to use alveolar trills and taps as my rhotics because in Morrowind, the first game in which we heard voiced Nords, they had Scottish accents. And Scottish accents use rolled R's like r and r. In terms of inflectional morphology, there are two main reasons for inflectional morphemes to be added: pluralization and possession. There are two morphemes that can mark plurals, with the difference in usage being phonologically derived. After stops and vowels, the suffix s is used, like in bearsarks, bearsarks. But after any other type of sound, the suffix e is added, like in manmari. For possession, there is only one option, but it's also not always marked in certain Atmoran words like wuthrad. When it is marked, the morpheme is the suffix s on the possessor noun. This can also be added to pronouns, so instead of a separate pronoun like his for he possessing something, it would be he-s. Of course, the pronoun for he is not actually he in the conlang, so it's echo-s. I created two suffixes for the derivational morphology, the first being to derive an adjective from a noun, which is the suffix ik, like in merethic. The second derives, well, merethic. I need to start actually pronouncing it properly, but the second derives the noun from a verb and is the suffix like in the word river. These can be combined, so something like bandit-like would be riveric. The word order of the language is strictly SVO, and noun phrases are ordered like shown on screen. Adpositional phrases are always prepositional. I only did some very basic syntactic work, and some of it was more lexical work in disguise because I included some determiners and prepositions in this section of the document. For example, rith means the, and ritha means that. Some prepositions are pae, meaning by, and boi, meaning to. The last thing I'd like to talk about is some dialectology. I created two main dialects of Nordic, the standard being Eastern Nordic, but communities in the west of Skyrim using Western Nordic. Eastern Nordic has some sound changes from Atmoran, so Talos is pronounced differently between Atmoran and Nordic. In Atmoran, Talos. In Nordic, Talos. Western Nordic has some further sound changes, so words like hook in Western Nordic become hook because the second syllable is unstressed, making the vowel turn into a schwa. I worked on this over the course of a few days, mostly toying with the phonology and morphology to make it make sense within the context of what words already existed. I worked a little bit on the lexicon and syntax, but those mostly took a back seat. If I come back to this project after this video, the lexicon will definitely be my next big hurdle. Let me know if this was interesting to you, let me know if this is something I should work on further, and let me know if you have any suggestions for things to add. I will probably not only make Outer Scrolls Linguistics videos, but I certainly seem to be in that headspace right now, so there may be a few more of these before I move on to something else. Anyway, see ya.